Today we welcome Sister Madeleine Lane, who is the director of the Family Center. We're very honored, Sister Madeleine, to have you speak with us about how you came to this ministry and what it is that you do. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a privilege to have had these questions that you invited me to think about and pray about, because when you're involved in ministry, sometimes you don't think about how did this all begin? And so connecting it with our mission and the need for it. The Family Center is about 26 years old. It's in St. Louis, Missouri, but it really is all over the United States. It's a counseling spirituality center without walls. Reflecting about this, my own need. I was only a grade school teacher for a couple years. And one principal that I taught just really 3 years, second and third grade, a few years in East St. Louis and 1 year in Hazelwood. And one of my principals said to me, I had my classroom all set up with learning centers and fun stations, and we went to the park a lot. And the principal said to me, sometime, Madeleine, you have to have a regular school day. And it's all about education and learning. And I like your little pods and your fun circles, but you can only have 5 field trips a year, and you got to do a little more education. Well, that's kind of like my model. I didn't do too well in grade school either, because I kind of like the fun model of learning, of sitting and listening to people. And so then I was invited to be educated and get my master's at Creighton University in spirituality. Well, there I found my love of sitting and listening to people and their stories. And I worked for years with the Franciscans at Quincy University. So I went from grade school teaching to college and university. And in that connection, from 1976 to today, the root of it has always been listening in 2 aspects. One, on the spiritual journey, but the second, a love of my life, is mental health. Mental health, we have lots of good growing things in education, but mental health, it's still pretty much a taboo. People don't know how to talk about it. It's sometimes a family secret. And I really wanted 2 things: to meet an urgent need. Our mission, which I love, is to make all one. And the oneness first has to come deep within ourselves. A deep love for ourselves, an acceptance of ourselves. And that one of my years in teaching, I had a little boy that lost his little sister. And I had a little girl that lost her mother that year. And I saw how they took care of each other. And often at recess, they would sit and talk about their experience of loss. They didn't know it was grief. And so for me, the most important aspect of what I do is honor each person's story. And in our Constitution, it says to speak completely in faith, in love, sincerely, and listen in openness. And in making one, I just have now experienced the really radical gift in our world today of hope. Offering hope to people that are the broken, are the lost, are the lonely right now. And where do you find hope today? When I really thought about my ministry of listening to people, one aspect that is so important and dear to my heart is my work with religious women. And I would have to say, the very first person that I sat down with to speak was a Dominican sister from Springfield, Illinois. I was living in Quincy. She was living in Quincy. I had a wonderful community. There were 14 of us in Quincy. And I said to the sisters at supper, my first person's coming, please, please. Pray that she's not coming with anything important. And my love to journey with religious women has been the constant through this whole thing, in facilitation, in retreats, and mainly in helping in mental health. And it's so important to me that these women have been my sign of hope. The faithfulness of living the mission, all their missions. I've worked with 8 to 12 communities in a given time, inspiring, and they touch my heart. I've seen over hundreds of religious, and what religious women have done in our society, in our world, is phenomenal. And it is a privilege for me to have one little aspect of helping with mental health and spiritual direction, our retreats, because these women truly are the heart of my mission. They inspire me. They speak to my prayer life. And all of us together, all the school sisters of Notre Dame, wherever we are sent, it is like you said, Joan, where there's one, there's all. And it is so important to me to help continue to support women religious in the aging process, because in some areas they are truly the forgotten church. I have seen stories that are unbelievable, and their faith, their hope is truly a gift in our church today. So for years I went from working with the Franciscans at Quincy, training people to do pastoral ministry, listening and spiritual direction. And then in the 80s, late 80s, I just felt like a lot of people came in those days to spiritual direction because counseling wasn't, you didn't kind of talk about going to counseling. So I wanted to get an advanced degree in marriage and family because I wanted to understand more about family. And in our Constitution, again, reading this is this one paragraph on conversion, is gradually we grow in our ability to speak the truth in love and accept it in humility. And I really believe that what we as school sisters in Notre Dame have to offer the most is speaking the truth in love, justice, and hope. As our mission is, it's called radical love. So I worked for years I worked in our formation program, I worked in pastoral ministry, but everything was always about listening, doing spiritual direction. Then I got a degree in marriage and family therapy. And I worked at a counseling center in St. Louis, and I worked for Catholic Family Services. And what I found was they were this isn't to say it's anything wrong with it, but it was always managed by managed care. You can have 2 sessions, and you can do this, and you have to put this person on medicine. And I had a great father that came in, and his wife had died, very tragic death, had 3 little children, and they were given each 1 session. So I said to my supervisor, how can I get them more sessions? She said, we can't. So came the birth of the Family Center. I wanted to find a place that people could come, like the old country doctor model, could come when they needed to come and could pay what they could afford. And we did not use any insurance. We asked for donations once a year. And we're in our 26th year. We've never turned anyone away. And we have never, ever been without the funds we needed. And it's grown in the sense of spirituality. Some people come for spiritual direction. Some people come for therapy. Many therapists have been involved. Many people have been involved. And so instead of writing grants or having bingos or trivia nights, I went out once a month to talk about mental health and about hope and about compassion. This is my 40th year of listening, of doing spiritual direction. And I would say, of all the people that have walked through my little door, which is in this neighborhood, there's one question, thought, desire of every person that has come in. What do you believe that might be? Anybody want to take a guess?
Am I loved?
Am I loved? Am I loved? Am I good enough? I did this when I was 18.
Give me only your love and your grace. That's enough for me.
Give me only your love and your grace, and that is more than enough for me. And then Creighton University asked if I would teach in their graduate school, family counseling and ministry of preparing people to do the work. And that's what helped support the Family Center. So it's been amazing. It's not about me. It's phenomenal, phenomenal people that have supported us. And to listen to folks has been a privilege. Everyone that has the courage to come in. And I love this little hope that I get from our Constitution, you are sent. It says that we gather necessary information, but it's a willingness to search in faith, in love, and to speak sincerely, and to listen in openness. That's what the Family Center is. We try to listen in openness. Because for me, often we come at mental health and illnesses in secrets. Oh, we better not tell her. Well, guess what? She already knows. And sometimes, just sometimes, freeing that person hears somebody else say their story. And the first little boy that inspired me, John, when he lost his sister, I only know about 4 or 5 people as adults, but I know John. He came back to see me a few years ago when he was having a hard time. And he said, the one thing I always remember about you is your listening, that you will remember my story. And I knew I could come back here and we wouldn't have to start over. And I believe the greatest gift is hearing somebody's story, bringing them hope, and believing in their story. And have there been hard times? Absolutely. But there have been amazing times. There have been many, many miracles. We always go with whatever is the need, which is in our Constitution. And the need this year is offering hope during a pandemic. And some days it's easier. Having all your clients on Zoom is a new invitation. And yet, there's wonderful people out there inspiring me every day that live in unbelievable circumstances, and they give me the gift of hope from their story. They give me courage. They help me live your scent of my ministry. You know, it's 42 years of listening. And people say, Madeleine, don't you get tired of listening? And I go, not yet. And if you can't remember the person's story, you haven't listened. And I couldn't do it in the managed care model. And I couldn't do it in a sense of telling somebody they had to pay this or they had to have diagnosis. And I was really touched by the people that have supported us, believed in us, and helped us open our door every day. And every night when I'm at the office, when I'm at the family center, I always sit in the waiting room when I leave. And I thank God for every person that had the courage to come in that day. And I ask them to be blessed for blessing my life with their story. And what's so important to me is in the conversion process of your scent, it is we grow in our ability to speak the truth in love and accept it in humility. And all of this makes me very humble to walk with the mentally ill, to journey with them, to walk in spirituality, giving retreats all over the country to support this little mission. And also to believe in the most broken and know that they too can feel that oneness of our mission, which is to make one. And I just, every day, it touches me to the core. And it's good that I'm not in a little boxed-in environment. Nobody except our secretary ever knows where I am. I'm all over the place, all over the country, giving workshops, giving talks, teaching, and swimming, taking time, and being touched every day by the oneness of offering hope in our world today.
Madeleine, thank you so much for sharing a beautiful story with us. And we really appreciate the work you do to make the School Sisters of Notre Dame alive in the lives of so many people. Truly living you are sent is so dear to your heart. And as you know, wherever one School Sister of Notre Dame is, we're all there with you. So thank you for bringing us to the ministry of the Family Center and bringing us to those who need someone to hold their story and give them hope. We're very grateful that you're doing that, and thank you for sharing your time with us today.